Okay, so now that we have our base animation here, we are now going to work on the artwork inside here. So if you select the solid, we're going to pre-compose this solid. Right-click, pre-compose. And we'll call this sky scene. Okay, there's our sky scene. So here's the sky scene. And if we watch our original one more time, I've got it right here on my desktop. We've got a few things that we need to add in. Let's start with the text. Okay. Next on Sundance at 7 p.m., the real pilots of LAX. Now you can put in whatever text you want. Okay. We're going to go through a process of creating the text, positioning them how we want on the third, and then create keyframes, and then we'll animate them in. Similar to what we did on the prior video with animating the plane. We positioned it first, and then we worked on the animation. So let's get the text in. So I'm using, it looks like we're using DIN right now. Let's see how that looks. Next on Sundance. DIN's looking pretty good to me, using the bold variant. In the original, I used National because that's what the Digital Lounge likes to use. So you're welcome to use National if you have it. You're welcome to use DIN. If you don't have DIN, use whatever you like. Okay, so next on Sundance at 7 p.m. So let's add in the 7 p.m. And we'll just position it. Remember, P will give us the position parameter. Kind of like this about here. About there feels about right. Let's make one more text frame. You can do this by hitting Command D, and that duplicates right here. So when it's duplicated, hey, it looks like it didn't do anything. But if we just pick it up, you can see that it actually did duplicate it. So the real pilots of LAX. Or maybe you're like me and you like Burbank. No, I think LAX makes more sense. All right. So let's get that position, P. Now, one thing you want to do when you have multiple layers here is grab these color values. If you click this little thumbnail, you can change the color value. So I like to just go down in hierarchy. That way, when I'm looking here, when I'm playing with keyframes or whatever, I know exactly what I'm touching. So, okay, so that feels about right. So let's pull maybe this back a little bit. Maybe this guy about there. Okay. And to go back to our original third, you can either click right here in the composition palette, or you can hold down Tab. And Tab gives you this little map, so to speak, of how things are composed. This mark right here is kind of the end of the line, and this arrow says, okay, this scene fits in third LAX. So I use Tab to jump around wherever I am. So I hope that you'll use that as well. As you start nesting more or pre-composing more compositions, this is going to really be your friend. You'll never flip around here. It'll get too confusing. You'll always just use this. So get used to using the tab. So let's play through this. Okay, So everything's really on screen somewhere between 2 and 3 seconds. So that's when we're going to start our animation over here. So I'm going to move the cursor to about 3 seconds. And now I'm going to use some of our pre-built effects to animate the text in and out. So if we come over here to Effects and Presets, click Text, oh, excuse me, Animation Presets, Text, Animate In and Animate Out. These are going to be our friends. So on the original, I kind of had this following gag. We can do whatever we want. Let's try a few and see what happens. Let's try pop buzzwords on the Animate In. Now, wherever the cursor is where this animation is going to start. So if I drop this here, see how that works? That's not what we want, is it? Let's try another one. Try reining in the characters. Let's see how this works. That's kind of interesting, huh? I like to move my effects right over here to the project palette. And I really don't need my character palette anymore, or my paragraph palette. So let's see how that effect worked again. That was kind of an interesting effect. Control Z, let's try another one. We also don't need motion sketch here right now, or the wiggler at all, or the smoother. Let's try slow fade on, and let's put this also on the right. Let's put this here. See how it started at our 3 second mark? That one's not bad. Let's leave that one on, okay? Now let's find another one for the Real Pilots of LAX. Let's try straight in multi-line. Nope. I want the Real Pilots of LAX to animate in maybe right after, maybe about right here, 5 seconds in. Remember, we only have 3 seconds left of this comp, so maybe a little less. Maybe about 4.5 seconds in. I'm not crazy about this. Let's try another one. How about random words shuffle in? I like that one. I think I did use this one. So we're going to play with these presets. And so what's happened here is on the actual objects themselves, the text objects here, we have a text parameter now with animators. And on this animator, you see these little dots here? This is what creates that animation. So on its original position here, the offset is actually at -35. We're going to pull this back. Oop. Let's see. Let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. Here's the position that we want, so we'll pull this off. Okay, so now when we hit play, the Real Pilots of LAX come in. Okay, so let's jump back to our original and just see how this looks. Remember, tab, third LAX. we're quite slow. So let's jump back over here and let's grab the animator up here and pull it over. An easy way to select any animated values on these particular tracks is by hitting the U key, and that'll automatically jump to any place where there is keyframes. If there's multiple keyframes, it'll show you nothing but multiple keyframes on here. So let's pull this back to, I'm going to select both of them here. I'm going to pull this down to 1.5 seconds, and then I'm going to hit the U key again and pull these keyframes to somewhere around 3. So we're getting this kind of effect. Let's see how that looks. Getting close, right? Let's now animate to the music. I'm going to pull the soundtrack off of here, come over to our sky scene, come back to my project, and drop the soundtrack here. That little guitar riff is how I want the Real Pilots of LAX to come on. So let's see if we can't find that riff. It happens about here. I want it to end with the guitar as well, so let's see how that works. And it's a little slow, so we'll pull it back on. Not quite there. As you can see, it's not exactly easy to follow. So what we're going to do is take a look at the waveform. And if you click down, drill down into the sound file, you'll see that we can actually find that waveform here. Let's zoom in. Let's actually zoom back out real quick. This is our timeline right here. We're only going to focus on this little area. I'm going to pull this in too. So now when I hit play, it's just going to cycle through the 1.5 seconds. So let me pull it back. Let's see if we can't see that riff on the waveform. I think this is it. Okay. So the Real Pilots part is working better. I want to get our next on to be a little closer with that airplane sound. So maybe it finishes about here, and this trails a little bit. Let's see. That feels a little bit better. Let's take a look at the main comp. Okay, getting closer. Okay, so let's come back over. I think this is just a hair behind. You want it to be 1 beat closer. So let's see how this works. There. So that's feeling correct. So now that we have the text, I think maybe the airplane might be a little slow. So let's see if we can't fix him real quick. So once again, we're going to select this particular track, hit U. We're going to just pull this over a little bit. And we'll play it through, see how it goes. Yeah, that feels better.